I certainly don't recommend playing this aggressive. However, if you're getting a little bored with some of the passive games, you can try playing some of the squishiest cruisers in the game and just full charging in with them and seeing what happens. You do need the right matchmaker though, and in this one we get it. Only one battleship. It allows us to push in without really fearing a crossfire. We catch a Marceau out. Unfortunately, our destroyers just don't keep them spotted. We would have had a kill there, but that's okay. We can continue to push in, and we're trying to learn where the battleship is. Really, it comes down to learning the map and where the enemy team is if you want to play aggressive. Montana, well, he's shooting HE. You should note of that. We'll definitely make use of that information later, and that he's going to B. So we're totally fine to just chill here and hopefully wait for this Marceau to pop up again. We're hoping that our DDs are going to push in, and they are, which is really nice, and the Marceau stays a little bit too long. I wonder if he was trying to torp me, given that he was looking right at us and not shooting his guns, right? It's probably something you want to look out for. And in fact, he was torping us, but I don't actually end up beating them. We'll move on though, on to a little later when we find a Petro pushing, and that can be a scary ship to fight. But if you get on the side of a Petro, definitely make use of AP. Even with little guns like this, you're going to do a ton of damage with armor piercing. This is one of the best ways to deal with a Petro. It's so tanky bow on from AP, and of course HE with its tiny superstructure, you really do need to flank it. So allowing a Petro to push in a little bit and then get into a crossfire is a really solid way to deal with it. And realistically, this game is pretty close to wrapped up as soon as this Petro dies. We've got the DD advantage, and we've now killed one of their radar cruisers. This game actually was a ranked game, as you can see. I don't play ranked all that often, and I actually wasn't intending to play ranked. I was pretty upset at myself for actually clicking the ranked battle mode. So that's one of the reasons I played so ridiculously aggressive in this one, because I just wanted to get it over with and just play randoms again. And now this Montana. From earlier, we knew he was shooting HE, and I, throughout the match, was keeping an eye on what he was shooting. It seemed like only HE. So learning these things, testing out whether or not your guesses are correct, it can really help you do a little bit more damage. So for example, with a Colbert, the two turrets kind of up towards the superstructure and then behind where you're shooting at, the farthest away turrets essentially, they usually can't fire unless you're giving flat broadside at longer ranges. And that's what we're doing. So this is the maximum TPM, and it's pretty insane. And since it's HE, we're not really all that scared. And I think this Montana kind of psyched himself out and actually shot in front of us as we just stayed stationary, reverse a little bit. And we're going to get a ton of damage on this Monty. I think we end up around 60, 70k into the Montana with just the HE. And of course, some fires helping us along. Colbert is a very, very strong ship at burning down battleships. I think we all know that. It's just a little bit squishy. So running into a Montana that just doesn't shoot AP, that's like Christmas, right? Now, one of the things about playing at close range is you get to use armor piercing more often, and it's far more effective. It's another reason I like pushing in, not that it's just more action-packed and interesting, but that you get to use the armor piercing. This Zhao here, rightfully so, is using HE since we're so well angled, and he actually does pretty good damage with his HE. However, with the help of our team and our AP, we're absolutely melting this Zhao. He does really good damage back though, so keep in mind, Colbert is pretty squishy, but matches like this are pretty hilarious. And it's not just these light DPM cruisers that you can get away with this kind of thing with. Even a relatively big ship like Hindenburg that has not great concealment, like 12-6 kilometer concealment, well, if the enemy team decides to leave the entire middle of the map open, you can make a push work and act almost like a radar ship, except with your hydro. This, of course, gets that German 6-kilometer hydro, which is pretty nice, and we actually catch the Shimakaze here with it. It's one of the reasons you probably don't want to give up the middle of the map if you're playing a battleship or even a cruiser. You want to contest risky plays like this. This isn't going to happen most matches, however, this one it just so happened that the entire enemy team just split. and left the whole middle of the map open. So we get to catch out a Shimakaze. This is another opportunity that you get only by playing a little bit riskier, pushing in. As you can see, we are giving flat broadside to the Thunderer and the Vermont over on the other side of the map. However, we do know that there are some islands in the way. That's really crucial here, is playing around islands, playing with concealment, and popping up where people don't necessarily expect. Of course, the Shimakaze does get around the island, and unfortunately, really not many other people can shoot at the Shima. So I decided to play really aggressive again, pushing onto the enemy side of the map already, just to finish off this Shima. And honestly, I should have turned out to the left here instead of the right. I think I probably could have gotten away with it, even though there's a Yamato there. It would have just been a little bit safer. This way, I don't really know if Hindenburg's turning circle is good enough to actually turn before this island. I don't play these ships all the time. This is kind of the one Hindenburg game I played in the last like 2 or 3 months or so. So not really sure about sitting flat broadside to a Schlieffen at 10 kilometers. That's maybe not the best position to be in. However, we do manage to get our turn in, and we're going to be relatively okay, assuming we don't just sit in front of those monstrous secondaries. We also have teammates coming in to help and shooting at the Schlieffen as he's pushing in. So really not a huge deal. And one of Hindenburg's strengths, of course, is its armor, allowing you to bounce it's allowing you to bounce 406mm guns with that 30mm plating. There we go. I got the numbers in my head. So a Schlieffen doesn't pose too much risk, assuming we're angled. And we don't allow the secondaries to just tear us up, because they definitely will. I really do enjoy the armor piercing on Hindenburg. It's very, very good, and I think it's a little unfortunate that it's not really something that gets used all that often, just because the HE is also so good on this thing. Of course, you do have to watch out for the torpedoes at close range, and I just love this whole island maneuvering, outplaying type of thing. I don't get these games very often, and that's why I'm showing you both of these matches. A lot of the time I feel like in my cruisers that given how much overmatch there is and randomness when it comes to battleship salvos, CVs lighting you at pretty long ranges for those battleships to then shoot at you, it's difficult to get matches where you can just play this sneaky cruiser hit and run kind of thing and actually make it work. And 5 torpedo hits hurts a lot on that poor Republic, but we're not done quite yet. We're actually going to push out and again try and make use of this armor piercing. And we're going to actually nuke this Yamato pretty hard here. Not the first salvo because we missed our rear turrets, but I just love this getting on people's flanks and pushing in. A lot of these plays are pretty dumb most of the time. That was like 10k salvo. That's kind of nuts, especially given the fast reload on the Hindenburg. I love this AP. It makes me so sad that we didn't get a few armor-piercing buffs on this ship back in the day, instead of the HE pen buffs, allowing it to pen 50mm of armor. If you didn't know, old Hindenburg only penned 32mm armor. It was very similar to all 203mm HE, but they thought it was a little bit weak as a ship, so then they buffed the HE. I was hoping for more AP buffs, but that's not the way they went. I just love using Hindenburg AP, sorry, not the HE, since it's so powerful. It just is really, really nice to use and gives you that feeling of Battleship Hindenburg again. A lot of these plays are pretty dumb though. I don't think they're gonna work most of the time, but every once in a while, making plays like this can be really entertaining and a lot of fun. And actually rewarded us with quite a bit of damage. You can see we're already up to 180k damage, which is a really solid Hindenburg game. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed these couple of dumb, aggressive cruiser games, and I'll see you guys in the next video. $8K. Dude, Hindenburg AP is just so satisfying. As I don't kill the Yamato. That's funny. Oh, man. Dude, you're not supposed to say anything nice about this game, alright?